It was one of those crisp Saturday afternoons that made downtown Cincinnati look like it had been dipped in gold. The potted ferns hanging outside Brew and Haven Café swayed slightly with the breeze, carrying warm scents of cinnamon rolls and roasted beans. A mellow indie playlist hummed in the background, where you almost expected someone to sit down with a guitar and pour out their heartbreak. Before we continue, please tell us, where in the world are you tuning in from? We love seeing how far our stories travel. We love you to subscribe our channel for more interesting single dad stories. At exactly 2 p.m., Aiden Cooper pushed open the door, right on time as always. Guy had punctuality wired into his DNA. Tall, slightly scruffy, pale blue shirt that looked like it had been ironed 3 times, then sat on a chair for an hour. The dude had nervous energy bouncing off him like static. His right leg tapped under the table like it owed him money. He glanced at the door, checked his phone, then his watch, then his phone again because that's what anxious people do. His reflection in the window caught a faint smile. 4 freaking years since his last date. Wild. 2 tables away, in the most awkwardly obvious position possible, sat 2 IT office clowns, Brandon Clark and Tyler Fox. Heads buried behind coffee cups and oversized newspapers like some bargain bin FBI agents. Their phones peeked out just enough to be suspicious. Aiden noticed but shrugged it off. He knew these guys. Cincinnati wasn't Manhattan. Running into coworkers on weekends was normal, at least that's what he thought. At 2:07, the cafe door opened. She walked in. Not just anyone, Maya Sullivan from accounting, the quiet one. Always with a cardigan, always carrying her lunch in a reusable floral bag, and always leaving the office before 5:03 exactly. People whispered that she was odd, shy, socially awkward. No one really knew her. They assumed. Her hair was pulled up, but a rebellious curl still fell across her cheek. She scanned the cafe anxiously, clutching her purse like it was armor. Aiden lifted his hand. Maya froze for a second. Surprise, confusion, a flicker of terror. She walked over slowly, like she was bracing for something to go wrong. Maya, Aiden said softly, standing to pull her chair, it's good to officially meet. Her smile trembled. You too. I didn't know it was you. The way she said it struck him. Something wasn't right. He hesitated. Then truth. Okay, so I'm going to be real with you, he said, lowering his voice. I didn't set this up. Brandon and Tyler did. All I knew was that someone wanted to grab coffee. Maya blinked slowly, then looked away, toward the corner, right at Brandon and Tyler pretending to examine a newspaper like it held nuclear launch codes. Her face sank. Oh, she whispered, only that one word, but it held humiliation, disappointment, pain. I get it now, she said, throat tight. It's a prank because her voice cracked. Aiden saw it the moment that familiar shame hit her. The kind he knew too well. The kind that came from people judging you without knowing a damn thing about you. Right then, something switched inside him. He wasn't going to let this go down like that. Maya, he said firmly, surprising himself. Look at me. She did, tears forming. They're idiots. What they think doesn't matter. You know what matters. The fact you're here. The fact that even though this started as a joke, I'm glad it's you. And I still want to have this coffee, if you're okay with that. She stared at him, processing. Then slowly, very slowly, she smiled, just a little. And that, right there, was the moment everything changed. What Maya says next will surprise Aiden and completely ruin Brandon and Tyler's little prank. Aiden could almost hear Brandon and Tyler's disappointment from across the cafe. Their little prank wasn't unfolding like the ha-ha look at them cringe, tick-tock fiasco they had hoped for. Instead, they were watching something they never planned for, 2 people actually connecting. Maya slowly lowered her purse, shoulders relaxing just a bit. You really still want to do this? she asked, voice just above a whisper. Aiden nodded. Absolutely, and FYI, just so you know, I was nervous before I even walked in, like heart doing cartwheels nervous. That earned a tiny smile. They ordered coffee. Maya got a vanilla latte with extra foam, and Aiden, like the serious coffee nerd he was, ordered black, no cream, no sugar, like a true dad who has seen things, he joked. The tension began melting. After a few sips, Maya took a breath. Can I tell you something weird? Aiden grinned. I love weird. Weird is underrated. She looked down at her coffee. I was actually excited for this, even though I didn't know who the guy was. I just thought maybe it would be different, not like the other times. Other times, Aiden felt something in his chest tighten. You've been set up on fake dates before? She nodded, embarrassment creeping up her cheeks. In college, mostly. People thought it'd be funny. Shy girl, awkward girl, not date material. She forced out a laugh, but it was brittle. Guess it's still a good punchline. Something hot and sharp flared in Aiden. Man, people could be cruel. Straight up heartless, he leaned in. Can I tell you something kinda personal, too? She looked at him, curious, nervous, but open. I haven't been on a date in 4 years. Not because I didn't want to, but because I was raising my little girl alone. My wife left. And when she did, people made me feel like I was embarrassing, like I was the guy who got abandoned. Story of the failure dad. Maya's eyes softened. How old is your daughter? 6. Her name's Leela. She talks like a Disney character and thinks spaghetti is pronounced paschetti. She makes up dance routines for no reason and makes up her own rules for board games. Maya smiled, genuinely this time. She sounds amazing. She's chaos, Aiden said, but the good kind. The kind that saves your life without trying. For a moment, neither spoke. It wasn't awkward, it was comfortable silence, the rare kind. Hey, Aiden said after a moment. Want to mess with them? She blinked. Mess with who? He nodded subtly toward Brandon and Tyler. Operation Reverse Uno. A laugh broke through before she could stop it. And dang, it was a ridiculously pretty laugh. Light, kind of dorky, perfect. What do we do? She whispered, leaning in like they were plotting a bank heist. We make it look like the best freakin' date ever, Aiden said, suppressing a grin. Maya's grin turned mischievous. Aiden Cooper. I didn't know you had a savage side. Oh, there's a savage dad side, he bragged. I pack apple slices like a boss, she snorted. Wow, fearsome. From the corner, Brandon nudged Tyler, panic in his eyes. Dude, this was supposed to be awkward. Why do they look like they're having fun? Tyler frowned. Bro, why is she smiling? Is that flirting? Brandon's face fell. Dude, I think we just created a love story. Back at the table, Maya sat back, eyes brighter. You know, she said quietly, I almost didn't come today. I almost canceled. I thought, why bother? Nothing ever changes. Aiden looked right at her. Well, he said, warmth in his voice, looks like today proved you wrong. She nodded, holding his gaze a little longer now. Just enough to make Brandon and Tyler panic. But deeper than that, something real had started. Maya wasn't the only one watching. Someone else in the cafe had overheard, and one unexpected conversation was about to change everything. Right as Aiden and Maya were settling into something that oddly felt easy, a voice gently interrupted. Excuse me, the barista said. Her name tag read Sierra, early 20s, latte artist, nose ring, vibes of someone who didn't tolerate nonsense. I'm not trying to intrude, but I just want to say what you said earlier about opinions not mattering unless people know you. That hit, for real. Maya blinked, surprised. You were listening, Sierra shrugged. Girl, half the cafe was listening, those two clowns over there. She nodded toward Brandon and Tyler. They weren't exactly discreet with their Dollar Tree spy mission. Aiden chuckled. Subtlety is not their gift. Sierra placed 2 pastries on the table. On the house. I figured you guys deserve a better start than whatever they were plotting. Maya stared at the plate, almost emotional. You didn't have to do that, Sierra smiled. Nah, I did, because sometimes people need a reminder that good humans exist. Y'all might have just made my whole shift. She left with a wink. Maya looked down, fiddling with the edge of her coffee cup. That was really nice, she whispered. People sense truth, Aiden said quietly. And I think you've been overlooked for so long you forgot that people can actually see you. Her eyes shimmered, but she didn't cry this time. She just sat straighter, more present. So, Aiden said, gently shifting gears, let's pretend this wasn't a prank setup. Let's say we're just two humans having coffee. What would you want me to know about you? She hesitated, then took a breath. I love baking, she said. Cakes, cupcakes, pastries, the whole thing I taught myself. 5 years of trial and error and one extremely dramatic oven fire. She grimaced. My smoke alarm and I have trust issues. Aiden snorted. Dang, that's basically a Hallmark movie origin story. She grinned. I bake because it feels like something I can control. You give effort, you get results, not like people. People are unpredictable. He nodded slowly. Yeah, people can hurt you when you're not looking. They sat in that truth for a moment. What about you? She asked. What would you want me to know? He paused. I used to think being left made me unworthy. Like if someone walks away, it must mean you weren't enough. And then Leela, my daughter, she started saying stuff like, Daddy, you're my favorite grown-up. And it hit me. Someone's decision to walk away doesn't erase your worth. Maya looked at him with new eyes. That feels important. I say it to myself every day, he admitted. She nodded. Maybe I should start saying it too. There it was, the shift. The air around them felt different now, not fragile, not awkward, but full of potential. A few tables away, a woman, middle-aged, glasses, hair in a bun, was watching them with a thoughtful expression. She looked familiar. Maya noticed. That woman, do you know her? Aiden glanced. Recognition flashed. Oh, shoot, yeah, that's Mrs. Keene. She works in HR. She knows pretty much everything and sees everything. I bet she already knows about this prank. Maya's eyes widened. You think she'll do something? Aiden smirked. Well, let's just say she once sent an entire department to sensitivity training because someone said cats aren't real pets. Maya laughed, the brightest one yet. As they got up to leave, Mrs. Keene stood. Miss Sullivan, Mr. Cooper, she said calmly. Don't worry, those two. She tilted her head toward Brandon and Tyler, who suddenly looked like kids caught stealing cookies, will be handled. Maya blushed. She didn't know what to say, but Mrs. Keene smiled, soft, kind, unexpected. And for what it's worth, you two handled today with more dignity and grace than most. Don't underestimate that. Good things often start in unexpected places. She winked, then walked out. Aiden and Maya stood there, processing, and just like that, what had started as a joke began to feel like something real. But Monday at the office? Oh man. The story wasn't just theirs anymore, and not everyone was ready for it. Monday came in hot, loud printers, stale coffee, and the sound of someone aggressively typing like they were fighting for their life in Excel. Aiden walked into the office balancing a travel mug and a folder, ready for a regular workday. Except nothing about it was regular. People were staring, like real staring, whispering, some smiling, some watching like he was part of a Netflix documentary. He froze near the elevators. Oh no, had someone posted something? He locked eyes with Derek from logistics, who gave him a salute and mouthed, respect, bro. Okay, that was weird. Then he spotted Maya stepping in from the lobby, cardigan, hair pulled back, clutching a lunch bag. Normal. Except she too was drawing stares, and that's when it hit him. This story, the prank, the coffee date, the unexpected ending it had gotten out. But not in the ugly, humiliating way Brandon and Tyler planned. Nope. The internet had turned it into a story worth rooting for. Aiden walked past the break room when he overheard a whisper. That's them, coffee date couple, the one from TikTok. They turned a prank into a love story. Another voice, honestly, kinda iconic. At her desk, Maya looked like she was trying very hard to become invisible. Aiden walked over softly. You okay? She gave a half smile. I feel like I unknowingly auditioned for The Bachelor. Corporate edition, he chuckled. At least no one handed you a rose. Yet, she muttered. Just as he was about to respond, someone cleared their throat. It was Mrs. Keene from HR. And behind her was Mrs. Wallace, the division director. Oh boy. Maya, Aiden, Mrs. Wallace said. My office, please. Brandon and Tyler had been called in earlier. They walked past now, pale, panicked, wishing they could disappear into a printer. Inside the office, Mrs. Wallace gestured for them to sit. I've seen the video clips, she began. Maya's heart dropped. There are videos, Mrs. Wallace nodded. Yes, multiple, but don't worry, there's nothing damaging. In fact, quite the opposite. She clicked something on her phone. A short clip played. It was Aiden in the cafe saying, the only opinions that matter are from people who take time to know who you actually are. Then Maya laughing, bright, real, free. Not awkward, not humiliated, just seen. Mrs. Wallace paused the video. That quote, she said, has been shared more than 20,000 times. Maya blinked. What? People relate to it, Mrs. Keene said gently. People who have been judged, misunderstood, ignored. You two didn't respond with anger or revenge. You responded with grace. Mrs. Wallace leaned in. That is leadership, and we need more of it. Aiden stared, processing. Are we in trouble? Mrs. Wallace laughed. Trouble? No, actually, Maya, there's an internal mentoring program starting next month. You'd be perfect to help lead it. Maya looked stunned. Me? But I'm not exactly a people person. That's exactly why you'd be great, Mrs. Keene smiled. You don't just talk, you listen. Then Mrs. Wallace turned to Aiden. And as for you, you're presenting at the Regional Team Summit in March on empathy and leadership. Aiden blinked. I'm sorry, what now? She smiled. Yes, Mr. Cooper, you're good with numbers, but you're better with people. You just don't know it yet. They walked out of the office in a daze. Maya looked at him. Did we just get promoted because of kindness? Looks like it, he said. She shook her head. That's wild, he laughed. Welcome to America, where your coffee date can accidentally make you corporate famous. She breathed out a shaky laugh, then quiet. Aiden? Yeah. I don't know where this is going, but I'm not scared of it anymore. He smiled softly. Good, because this, he gestured between them. This feels like just the beginning. But beginnings aren't always smooth, especially when emotions, fears, and little 6-year-olds named Leela get involved. It was exactly 4:32 p.m. when Aiden buckled Leela into her booster seat, and she side-eyed him like a tiny detective. Daddy, she said slowly, your shirt looks ironed. Your hair is behaving, and you're humming. Who is she? Aiden froze mid-seatbelt. Excuse me. Leela squinted like she was on a true crime show. Spill it, cowboy, cowboy. She had definitely picked that up from her grandma. There is no she, Lil. She crossed her arms. Dad, please, I'm 6, not clueless, he sighed, this kid. Okay, maybe there is a she, he admitted. Leela gasped. I knew it. Are you getting me a stepmom? Is she nice? Does she like dogs? Can she braid hair? Does she smell like frosting? Aiden held up his hands. Whoa, slow down, Cupcake. We're not hiring a stepmom off Craigslist. She frowned. Craigslist is shady. Use Amazon. He nearly choked, laughing. No, absolutely not ordering a mommy off Amazon. She squinted suspiciously. What's her name? Maya, her eyebrows raised. Like Princess Maya from Magic Kingdom Princess Universe on Netflix. I don't think she's royalty. Leela kicked her feet, thinking. Could be, does she eat birthday cake even when it's not her birthday? She makes cake, Aiden said before he could stop himself. Leela froze, silence. Then, with dramatic intensity, she's the chosen one. Aiden laughed so hard he had to wipe his eyes. Can I meet her? she asked quietly now, softer. Only if she's not like Emma's new stepdad who said her drawings didn't look like real cats. Aiden's smile faded. He crouched to her level. Hey, you can meet her when you're ready, and she's kind, Lil, really kind. She'd like your drawings even if your cats look like fuzzy potatoes. Leela brightened. My cats do look like fuzzy potatoes. I know, Aiden grinned. Later that week, Aiden and Maya met again, this time at Riverside Park, under old maple trees dressed in early autumn shades. The sun dipped, throwing warm streaks across the grass. Maya sat on the bench already, holding 2 hot chocolates. When she saw him, she lifted one. No coffee today. The barista said hot chocolate builds trust. Wise barista, Aiden said, sitting. She smiled. How's your daughter? He chuckled. Preparing interview questions for you, apparently. Maya's eyes widened. Interview questions? She wants to know if you're frosting compatible. Maya burst into laughter. That might be the best compliment I've ever received. They sat quietly, watching 2 kids race through crunchy leaves. Then something shifted. A deeper kind of silence, not awkward, just expectant. Maya, he said quietly, can I ask something kinda real? She nodded. What scared you more on that first day? The prank or the possibility that someone might actually see you? She didn't speak for a while. Then she whispered, the second one. He nodded. He understood that more than she knew. She turned to him suddenly. Can I ask something? Go for it. Are you scared? He took a breath. Terrified, he admitted. But not of you, just of messing up something that feels important. She looked at him like really looked. No walls, no shields. What if, she said carefully, we both stop expecting disaster and start expecting possibility? He froze because dang, that sentence felt like hope. Just then his phone buzzed. He looked at it, a text. From Leela, it read, Daddy asked her if she likes fuzzy potato cats. He laughed. Maya looked confused. He handed her the phone. She read it and melted. Tell her, Maya said, smiling softly, that fuzzy potato cats are my favorite kind. He nodded. Something had shifted, something real. But just when everything felt safe, Maya got a letter that changed everything, and it wasn't from Aiden or Layla. Life has a funny way of testing you right when you start to feel safe. That week, Maya walked into her apartment, dropped her keys in the little wooden catch-all bowl, kicked off her shoes, and found a letter tucked under her door. A real letter, no envelope, no stamp, just her name handwritten, Maya Sullivan. She frowned. It wasn't from Aiden, not from work, not from her sister. She opened it slowly. The handwriting, familiar. And as she read, she froze. Maya, I saw the video. I saw you. It's been a long time. But I need to say this, I didn't leave because of you. I left because I didn't know how to love myself, so I couldn't love you right either. I know you never believed that. But I hope one day you will. I think maybe you're learning now. I'm proud of you. Dad, she sank onto the edge of her bed. Her dad. The man who left when she was 14, who walked out with 2 suitcases and a guilty smile. She used to think she wasn't worth staying for, and now he had seen her. After all these years, after all her doubts, after all her whispered fears of being too much or not enough, he saw her. She wasn't sure if she felt angry, or relieved, or overwhelmed, maybe all of it. And for the first time in her life, she wanted to talk about it. Except she didn't call her sister, she didn't write in her journal, she didn't bake it out of her system. She did something she never used to do. She reached out. To Aiden, he didn't hesitate. Come over, he said, no questions asked. She knocked at his door, hoodie, messy hair, tear-stained cheeks. He opened it, soft eyes, no judgment. She stepped in, and there she was, little Leela, sitting on the floor, coloring a cat that absolutely looked like a potato with whiskers. Leela looked up and without any hesitation smiled wide. You look sad, want a cookie? Maya blinked. Aiden started, Leela she just got. But Maya knelt down right there on the hardwood floor and took the cookie. Thank you, she whispered. Leela nodded with all the wisdom of a very tiny, sparkly philosopher. Cookies help, and hugs too, but only if you're a hugging person. Maya didn't question. She hugged her, and just like that, something inside her cracked, not in a broken way, in a freeing way. Later, after bedtime stories and tiny sock finding and just one more glass of water negotiations, Aiden walked into the living room where Maya sat with hot tea. He didn't push, he just sat. She finally spoke. "My dad wrote me after 12 years," her voice shook. "I used to think he left because I wasn't worth staying for." Aiden's jaw tightened. "But," she continued, "the letter said he left because he didn't know how to love himself. And she stopped, breathed. "I think I've felt like that, like I was always waiting for someone else to choose me, to make me feel enough." Silence, not empty, just full, quiet understanding. She looked at him. "Do you ever feel that?" Aiden's eyes softened, pain and warmth swimming together. "For a long time," he said quietly, "I thought my wife left because I wasn't enough. But it wasn't about me. It was about her, her fears, her needs, her story, not mine." Maya nodded slowly. I'm learning that." Finally, then she said something that surprised them both. "I think I want to forgive him." Aiden didn't say anything for a moment. Then softly, sincerely, "Maybe that's how you start forgiving yourself too." Maya looked at him. She didn't cry now. She felt lighter, not healed, not suddenly confident, but ready to grow. And for Maya Sullivan, that was everything. But healing isn't just about letting go of the past, it's about letting something new begin. And for Maya, that something new was about to be very unexpected. The next few weeks weren't magical movie montage perfect. They were normal, healing in bite-sized pieces normal. The kind that didn't come with background music, but did come with donuts, accidental hand touches, and small moments that felt like big ones. Maya started smiling differently now. Not just polite smiles, real ones. Like when Aiden texted her a photo of Leela holding a sign that said, "Maya, I baked brownies, but Daddy says they're illegal to share with adults. Please confirm." Maya replied, "Tell Daddy that's a violation of the Brownie Sharing Act of 2023. Leela wrote back, "I knew it." Or like when Maya accidentally snorted laughing in a meeting, and instead of blushing and apologizing, she owned it. Even when Todd from IT yelled, "Snort alert," like a middle schooler, she shot back, "Todd, you're just jealous my laugh has personality." The whole room cracked up. Maya had never ever clapped back in a meeting, not once. But that day, she did, and right after she caught Aiden watching her from across the conference table. Proud, but not in a possessive, look at my girl kind of way. More like, look at her finally seeing who she is. One Thursday, Aiden surprised her. "Don't make plans Saturday evening," he said, grinning. "Oh," she raised an eyebrow, "that sounds suspiciously like a plan." "Maybe it is." She crossed her arms. "Is this a go-to-dinner kind of thing or a I panic because I forgot it was your birthday and now we're at Target at 9 p.m. buying candles and a cake mix kind of thing?" Aiden laughed. "First one, hopefully." Saturday came, and surprise, it wasn't dinner. It was a fall festival. Orange lights, pumpkin spice everything, and a live band making country covers sound way more dramatic than necessary. Maya looked around, smiling. "This is actually perfect." "Wait till you try the deep-fried Oreos," Aiden said. She blinked. "I'm sorry, what now?" Leela, skipping ahead, yelled, "They fry cookies in America, Miss Maya. This is a blessed country." Maya laughed, loud, free, happy. They walked through lights and laughter, played ring toss badly, tried deep-fried Oreos, surprisingly heavenly. And Leela, being Leela, dragged Maya onto the carousel. Aiden watched. The woman who used to avoid crowds just laughing, spinning, existing without shrinking. Something warm settled in his chest. That's when he noticed Maya was looking back at him. And that smile, it was different. Softer, warmer, sure. Like maybe she was ready to choose something, too. That night after Leela crashed in the backseat, sticky with caramel apples and joy, Aiden and Maya stood by his car in the parking area. Quiet, but comfortable. I had fun today, Maya said softly. Me too, Aiden replied. She laughed a little. I forgot what that felt like, real fun, not just smile so everyone thinks I'm okay kind of fun. He nodded. I get that. Silence. Then gentle words. Hey, Maya. Yeah. I like you when you're quiet, I like you when you're nervous, but this version of you laughing, spinning around, being bold in meetings. He paused. I think that's who you really are, not new you. Just unhidden you. She looked away, emotional, but in the good way. People always told me I was quiet, she said. He smiled. You don't have to stay quiet just because people expect you to. She looked at him, eyes shimmering. And then she did something very unquiet. She reached out and held his hand, not like a shy, hesitant touch, like a choice, a clear one, and Aiden, he didn't say anything, just squeezed her hand back, and it said everything. But choosing someone isn't just about holding hands under festival lights. It's about facing real fears, too. And Maya's biggest one was coming sooner than she thought. Healing isn't always one big moment. Sometimes it's tiny victories, saying what you mean, showing up on bad days, choosing to believe good things aren't traps. But fear waits, and it popped up for Maya on a random Tuesday. No warning, no big fight, just a quiet moment in Aiden's kitchen. It happened while she was helping Leela make cookies. Well, not cookies, something chaotic involving flour, gummy bears, and sprinkles. Basically a sugar explosion. Leela called it cookie lasagna. Maya was laughing, the real kind, and then she froze just like that. Because for the first time, she realized something terrifying. She belonged here, she felt safe here, she wanted this. The kitchen, the laughter, the messy daughter chaos, the future, and that scared her more than anything. Because now she had something to lose, she excused herself to wash her hands. Her breathing quickened, not dramatic, not panicked, but subtle, quiet fear. She stared at her reflection in the hallway mirror. You don't get this, a familiar voice whispered in her head. This isn't for people like you. Old fears, sneaky ones. The idea that happiness had limits, and hers expired early. She stepped back unsure, walls creeping up. Leela noticed first. Kids always do. Maya, Leela asked softly, cradling a bowl of batter like it was a sacred treasure. You look like your soul just left your body. Maya forced a smile, weak. I'm okay, honey. Nope, Leela said, unconvinced. Your smile looks like when Dad tries yoga. Maya laughed, but it didn't stick. Aiden walked in, sensing the shift instantly. You okay? She wanted to say yes. She wanted to be easy and calm and fine, but she wasn't, not today. She took a shaky breath. I like this, she said quietly, eyes moving between him and Leela. This kitchen, this house, you too. Aiden froze, Leela leaned forward. Cookie Lasagna silently judged the moment. Maya's voice trembled. And because I like it, I keep waiting for it to fall apart. Silence, real, heavy, honest. Aiden stepped closer, not too close, not in a fixing way, just present. Sometimes, he said softly, good things don't fall apart. They stay, people stay. Maya closed her eyes. I don't know how to believe that. I know, he said. I didn't either. She looked up, uncertain, vulnerable. What changed? He smiled sadly. Someone looked at me and didn't see a broken story, just me, enough. He held her gaze. I see that in you, Maya. She didn't cry, but she did let out a breath she'd been holding for years, not fixed, not magically brave. But still there, still choosing to stay. Leela, who had been silently soaking in every word, toddled over with all the seriousness of a junior therapist. Maya, yes, sweet girl. Even if you're scared, she announced, you can still eat cookies with us. Hard to argue with that logic. Maya smiled. This time it reached her eyes. She knelt down, hugged Leela. Deal. And just like that, fear didn't win. It didn't disappear, but it didn't win. Later, as evening light spilled through the windows, Maya stood in the doorway, watching Aiden tuck Leela in. She saw the way he brushed hair from her forehead, the way she whispered things only he could hear, the way he didn't rush it, soft parenting, gentle, patient, intentional, and something inside Maya whispered, this feels like home, not a perfect one, not a guaranteed one, but a chosen one, and that was everything. But happiness isn't harmless. Soon, someone from Maya's past returns, not with pain, but with a question that could change everything. The past has a way of showing up when you least expect it, not always with heartbreak, sometimes just unfinished chapters. For Maya, it arrived in the form of an email from her dad. Subject, can we talk? No dramatic speech. No guilt trips, just 6 simple words. I'm nearby for work, could we meet? She didn't know what to feel, nostalgia, anger, curiosity, relief. She didn't even know if she wanted to see him. But somewhere deep inside, the version of herself she was slowly becoming whispered, maybe it's time. So she agreed. They met at a small diner, one of those places with vinyl booths, bottomless coffee, and the same 5 songs from 1994 stuck in a loop. When she walked in, he was already there, older, a little grayer, same tired eyes. "Hi, Maya," he said softly. It was the first time she'd heard him say her name in over a decade. She sat, carefully, cautiously. "I didn't come for apologies," she said before he could speak. He nodded. "I know that's not what I came to give." She blinked, caught off guard. He looked at her gently. "I came to thank you," she frowned. "For what?" He pulled out a folded piece of paper, a printed screenshot of her, sitting at a cafe table, eyes watery, chin lifted, voice saying, "The only opinions that matter are from people who take the time to know who you really are." It was from the viral clip. He continued, "I left because I thought I wasn't good enough to be a father. I thought you'd be better off without me. But when I watched this, I realized I passed something on to you anyway." She stiffened slightly. "What? That fear," he said, voice trembling. "Fear of not being enough, and for that I'm sorry." She stared, no anger, just truth. He swallowed, eyes misty. "I didn't reach out to ask for a place in your life. I just came to say this courage you're showing, this love you're learning, I never learned it, but you did, you broke it." His voice softened. "You didn't get that from me, you built it in spite of me." Silence, powerful, not angry, not bitter. Just real. She didn't cry, not because she didn't feel it, but because, for the first time, she didn't feel small in the moment. She wasn't that abandoned 14-year-old anymore. She had changed. He had not, and that was okay. She stood. "You're right," she said softly. "I did build it. It took me a long time, but I did." He nodded, understanding. She looked at him one last time, and instead of resentment, she gave him something unexpected, peace. "Take care of yourself," she said quietly. He smiled, grateful. "You too, Maya." She walked out, lighter, not because the past had fixed itself, but because she had stopped waiting for it to. That evening, she sat on Aiden's porch with hot chocolate autumn breeze brushing past them. He didn't press for details. She didn't unload everything. They just sat, quiet, connected. Then she said, "I'm not defined by what didn't stay." He looked at her, seeing the change in her eyes. Softly, he whispered, "That's growth, Maya." She smiled. "This doesn't scare me anymore," she said, looking toward the warm windows where Leela's shadow danced inside. "This," she motioned between them, "whatever it is, it feels like something I'm allowed to want." Aiden's voice was gentle. "You don't need permission to be loved." She looked at him, something shifted, clear, honest, hopeful. And she whispered something she had never said to anyone, "Maybe I'm finally starting to believe that." But believing is one thing, choosing it fully, that's when everything changes. And change was right around the corner. It was the kind of fall evening that made everything look softer. The air was crisp, but not cruel. The sky painted in those cotton candy shades that make even traffic look poetic. The kind of evening where something real could happen, quietly, without fireworks, without dramatic music. Aiden had invited Maya and Leela over again. Nothing special, just fake Chipotle night. which meant store-bought tortillas, shredded chicken, too much cheese, and Leela explaining how guacamole was just mashed-up green happiness. They ate, they laughed, they talked about nothing and everything. But tonight felt different. There was no big moment, no candlelit speech, no dramatic confessions, just an ordinary night, which somehow made it feel even more important. Later after dinner, Leela sat on the floor building a Lego dinosaur that looked more like a confused turtle, while Maya and Aiden stood in the kitchen, putting dishes away. Aiden turned to her. "You seem calm tonight," Maya smiled. "For once, I think I actually am." He set a mug down. "Feels different, good different." She nodded, then she said something he didn't expect. "I've stopped waiting for things to go wrong." He paused, that felt big. She continued, voice soft. "I used to think happiness was temporary, like if you felt too much of it, you'd pay for it later, like it was borrowed. And now," she looked toward Leela, now dancing with the Lego turtle dino. "Now," she whispered, "I think maybe I get to keep it." Aiden looked at her, soft eyes, quiet smile, and instead of trying to say the perfect thing, he spoke simply. "You do." She didn't cry this time. She didn't retreat into old fears, she just smiled. And it felt like sunlight finally found her. Leela finished dancing, clutching her Lego creature. She walked up, serious as a judge. "Miss Maya." "Yes, sweet girl." "Do you like being here?" Maya didn't hesitate. "I love being here," Leela nodded. "Okay, good, because when people like being here, they come back more. That's how families get made. You keep coming back." That one hit different. Maya blinked, then knelt down, eye level. "You're very wise," Maya said softly. Leela grinned. "I know I eat a lot of breakfast. It makes me intelligent." Aiden snorted. Maya laughed through her emotions. Leela placed one tiny hand in Maya's and the other in Aiden's. And in the silence that followed, nobody needed to explain what that meant. A choice, a bond, not perfect, not forced, not borrowed. Just real. Later, after Leela was asleep, Aiden walked Maya to her car like he always did. But tonight, before she opened the door, she turned. "Can I tell you something?" "Always." She took a breath. "I don't just like being here, Aiden. I belong here, not because I need it, not because I'm scared of losing it, but because I choose it." His expression softened, slow, steady. "True." She stepped just a little closer. "For years, I thought love was about being chosen." Her voice quiet, honest, clear. "But now, I think love is about choosing." Aiden didn't rush, didn't dramatize. He just took her hand and said, "I choose this too." And for the first time in her life, Maya Sullivan believed it. Not just in him, not just in them, but in herself. But little did she know, love wasn't done surprising her yet. Because soon, someone very small would ask a very big question. A few weeks later, the world wasn't dramatically different. No flash mobs. No dramatic speeches in the rain. Just Saturday morning sunlight pouring through kitchen windows, the sound of cartoon jingles, and the smell of slightly burnt pancakes. Normal, which for them felt perfect. Maya had stayed over for breakfast, not overnight, just early morning, because Leela insisted she help with the pancake architecture project, which, for some reason, involved blueberries and toothpicks. "Daddy," Leela announced, pointing at her pancake tower, "this one is called Breakfast Castle." Aiden nodded approvingly. "A stunning example of syrup engineering." Maya laughed, sipping coffee. She looked comfortable now, not guest comfortable. Home comfortable. After breakfast, while Aiden cleaned up, Leela tugged gently at Maya's sleeve. "Miss Maya." "Yes, sweet girl. I have a question, but it's big." Maya blinked. "Okay." Leela looked very serious now, like a tiny lawyer in a glitter shirt. "If I ask you something important," she said slowly, "and you don't know the answer yet, it's okay. I just want you to think about it in your heart." Maya's breath caught. "I can do that." Leela took a tiny breath. "Do you want to maybe be my other grown-up?" Maya's throat tightened. Leela continued, a little shy now. Not just Daddy's friend, not just the lady who makes the good brownies, but like someone who stays, like one of my people. Silence, soft, beautiful, Maya knelt. Her voice shook not from fear, but from finally feeling ready. Leela, she whispered, voice trembling, I would love to be your other grown-up. More than anything. Leela exhaled like she'd been holding her breath since birth. Okay, she said solemnly. Good, I've decided we are adopting you. Maya laughed through teary eyes. I think it works differently, sweetheart. Nope, Leela declared confidently. I Googled it. You're ours now. And just like that, they both knew something permanent had begun. That night, Maya walked onto the porch where Aiden stood, hands in his pockets, smile soft and warm. She asked me, Maya said. He didn't need to ask what, he just waited. And I said yes, Maya continued, voice soft but steady. Not an official legal paper, yes, but a heart yes. Aiden nodded slowly. That's the real yes. She stepped closer. For the first time, she whispered, I'm not scared because this doesn't feel like losing myself. It feels like finding home. He looked at her. With all the warmth, all the patience, all the love she had slowly, carefully learned to let in. No jokes, he said, softly but clearly. No perfect speeches. But I need to tell you something. He took a breath, not nervous, just sure. I don't love you because you're perfect, Maya. I love you because you're real, because you choose to stay, because you choose us. Her eyes filled, not with fear, but with something she once believed was dangerous. Hope. I choose you, she whispered. And then, like it had always been leading here, he pulled from his pocket something small, not fancy, not rehearsed, just true. A tiny silver ring with Leela's initials carved on one side and Maya's on the other. I don't want perfect, he said softly. I just want your yes. Maya didn't cry, she laughed, unfiltered, joyful, finally free. Then take it, she smiled, placing her hand in his. I'm done waiting for happiness to leave. I'm choosing it to stay. And just like that, love stopped being something that happened to her. It became something she built, something she claimed, something she chose. Final scene 1 year later, a wedding in the backyard, nothing extravagant, fairy lights. Blueberry pancake buffet thanks to Leela. A sign drawn in crayon that read, We are an unofficial family, but now it's official. When the officiant said, You may kiss, Leela yelled, Finally. Everyone laughed. Maya looked around, at Aiden, at Leela spinning in her glitter shoes, at her sister. At the family built not from perfection, but from choosing. And she smiled. Not because life was flawless, but because it was hers, messy, unexpected, unscripted, but deeply, beautifully real. Because sometimes love doesn't start with fireworks. It starts with coffee, with kindness, with choosing to stay. And choosing again and again and again, not because it's easy, but because it's home.